Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Abby Hagyard, and I just have to click on this thing down here. I'll explain to you in a second. Um, Tech is, and I have a nodding acquaintance and kind of respect, and I wanted to mention that because it kind of segues into what I'm talking about today. And don't we love it when the universe does that? So before we begin, it's kind of we're getting the tail end of a hurricane barrel, so it's a very unhappy little day out there. So nice warm beverage to start the video. Oh boy, I got a message yesterday from Freddie Moore, who said that he wouldn't be able to comment today. He'll be watching later, I think, because he has some business he has to take care of, and I wanted to mention that because like all of us, Freddie has stuff. And unlike so many of us, he he knows what it feels like when somebody goes out of their way to keep him connected, to keep him in the loop. He's paying attention to that. He's conscious of it. He's a very, very smart guy. And so he was very thoughtful in reaching out to me and saying, you won't see my comments. And because he didn't want me to worry. And he didn't want me to feel abandoned, and he didn't want me questioning what had happened without any way of finding out. And that's very thoughtful. And it also dovetails into what we're talking about today. Good morning, Charles. You made it back home in one piece. Now there's an adventure to talk about. Um, these road trips. I don't know, Charles. They have to start perfecting that Star Trek. Is it Star Trek Beam Me Up thing? That would be so helpful. Not sure what it would do with its luggage, though, or the snacks on the road. What I want to talk about today for all the people who do join in regularly and for newcomers is a couple of things. One is that my goal with these videos, aside from staying in touch and staying connected and talking about things the way I do, is to get us all kind of looking forward to an opportunity to collaborate together in this process and this project I'm building called Pivotry in Motion. Everyone talks about pivoting. Everybody talks about do more, change. Uh, you got this, and while that is probably true, what nobody talks about is what the thing is that has to happen in here before any of the other stuff is actually doable, and why we need to be aware of it so that we have a feeling of confidence that you know what, I know how this works. I can get myself out of a headspace that's not helpful, and I can put myself someplace else. I need to know how, and I need to have the tools, and I need to have practiced to be able to focus. The thing is, I have the skill. It's in there. And I have polished it and perfected it without even realizing it, because it's one of those really old, not really thinking about it, autopilot survival mechanisms. It's so much more helpful if we actually know we have a tool and we know where it is when we have something we want to adjust, fix, upgrade. I'm making a list for the Fanaticon event this Sunday, and I was looking for something in the junk drawer, and I came across a level, but you put this thing to make sure you hang the picture. And I looked at it and I said, why have I never brought that to the event? Why have I always had to Shanghai innocent people walking by to say, is that level? When it's right here, it's right here. I took it out of the door. I put it in the toolbox because, hello, I have now done 10 of these things, and I have never once thought of bringing a level. But I did now. I did now. And that's what I'm talking about. We can't be magical and brilliant using our special skills and we don't know we have them. It's like, how long has that been there? So this is what I'm talking about. Charles is just saying, oh good, oh good. I had a safe trip, and you got to connect with family. You got to give Kat a chance to kind of work through Yeah, it's always difficult when we know we've got a family member who's not doing well. That's a very tough thing to do. And bless you both for deciding that you needed to be there for them and mostly for us, for you. It's so important to be able to say, I got a chance to do these things that mean so much to me and hopefully to them. Good for you, Charles. Good for you, Kat. So the conversation today, I decided to title it, what if that reel we ignored had feelings? We just kind of we went by it and thought, yeah, no. And the feelings going, but I'm cute, I'm really interesting. You could be 20, 30 seconds. I can't personify inanimate objects without doing the voice. So sorry. I was telling Carol the other day, in keeping with inanimate object and my challenges in the kitchen, I said to her, there are times when I walk in the kitchen. And you know how you walk into a room, you walk into a place, and you have the feeling that they were talking about you? Like everybody just kind of tries really hard to look normal, which is, and they immediately look anything but. I said to her, there are times I walk in the kitchen and I have the distinct feeling that the toaster and the microwave were discussing me. And it wasn't full of praise. She just spat her coffee. Said, what? Where do you get that? I said, I don't get it. It's in there. It just sort of comes out and goes, hi, everything about this. I have this independent brain that looks stuff up, says, and then goes away. So we are having issues, all of us, and we've always had them. And sometimes it feels like we're having more of them all at once. And probably that's true. It's entirely possible, just as the ocean waves. Some waves are very small and other waves are, okay, maybe I'm not going to try and ride that one. And by the way, I think that's a shark in it. The ebb and the flow and the size, is all part of a pattern, right? Something big happened over here and we're getting the echo effect, or we're the big thing and they're going to get the echo effect. And this morning, the pitty patter of raindrops, sometimes harder and sometimes going away, is the last remnants of Hurricane Beryl that absolutely smashed its way through the Caribbean and into Texas and up the middle of the US. And so now that it's here, it's just kind of going, on its way out. And I'm listening to the drops on the window. And then I got a message from a friend of mine who's not having a great time right now. And I said, I'm listening to this, and when the wind shifts, the on the window is louder, and then it's softer, and so it's kind of a wave action of what I'm experiencing, and sometimes that's soothing, and sometimes if you're feeling that you'd really like to be outside and you look out and it's so gray and gray and gray and wet, and you feel it, you feel all of those feelings about it from your inside, and so I'm writing him, and I said, and sometimes I wonder if the window itself, the window pane, feels anything, like, for God's sake, if it isn't one thing, it's another, you know. And then I went to stand at the window, and I across there and down is the parking lot of the university, and looking at all the puddles and the splops in the parking lot, and I'm thinking the parking lot's probably not feeling all that great about the weather either. And then, it has always occurred to me in the winter that when there's a lot of snow accumulates in this part of Canada in the winter, and then the snow plows are out, and they're out scraping not only the snow off the parking lots in the night, but they're also scraping away the gravel and the dreck and the salt and whatever it is that the snow crews have put down to stop incredible accidents from happening. And so there's this scraping sound, and I remember one time thinking, I wonder, for the parking lot, like for the pavement, I wonder if that feels like a massage, or like a really good backstrap. I wonder if that's like it could, if the pavement had any kind of feelings, if it's going, oh yeah, yeah, it's a little drool. Is that possible? Anyway, I sent that off to my friend who's having a bad day, and I said, it's a disrupting element if you can pull yourself away from your thoughts that aren't helpful. It's very difficult to do that when you're in that heavy place. So if you can pivot, if you can turn your focus somewhere else, pull yourself away from you. How though? How? Everybody says do this, be more. Yeah, but how do you expect me to do this? So I thought I would share today the fact that it's helpful to think that we should periodically say to the desk, well, don't you look fabulous now that I've cleaned you? Well, aren't you a work of art? Alrighty then. And the reason it's helpful to do that, not because we're delusional and we think the desk can hear us, although we, who knows, but because it is a sharing of a feeling. It's a sharing, it's a talking to. And whether like Shirley Valentine, you talk to the wall, or you're just recognizing the 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 assets you have and how beautiful they are and how much joy they bring, and reflect that back. Because if everything is made of molecules, if everything is resonating, if everything is moving all the time. I was having a very interesting conversation yesterday with this measuring tape, because I'm laying out the booth for Fanaticon on Sunday. Lay it on a piece of paper, hand the piece of paper to all 4 people who are helping you set up. So they don't keep saying, where do you want me to put it? It's on the paper. And this thing is this ridiculous thing on the front of it. Anyway, it wouldn't stay locked. You pull it out and then you can push a little button and it locks. Yeah, it wouldn't lock. And I was having an elevated conversation with it. And then I said to myself, not helping. All I'm doing is aggravating both of us. So I said, okay, tape, look, here's the thing. I'm a little stressed because it's now only 3 sleeps and 2 days, right? I'm a little stressed, excited, stressed, nevertheless. So forgive me for being short with you. I know it's me. Could we help me out here? Thank you. And the little apple looked at me, maybe. And then I just carried on and I ignored it. I stopped saying, why won't it? Why won't it? I just carried on. So if we can do that, if we can get out of it somehow, and the how is this, I think. My first rule is, first, do no harm. It is the oath that doctors take. It is a decision they are asked to make, that in pursuit of outcome, we do not create more harm along the way. Collateral harm nevertheless. And part of that first to no harm has to begin with us. We are the one closest to us. We are the one with us all the time. This package that carries us around. First, we must do no harm to us, to our package, to ourself, to all the gazillion processes and systems and mechanisms and autopilot triggers and reactions that take place within us. Our first, before we start anything else, our first, where to start before we start, promise must be, first, do no harm here. And if somehow, for some reason, in some way, we have shifted out of the present tense and we have drifted back or drifted forward in anticipation of or in memory of something that makes us feel unsafe, untethered, lost, not entirely real or important, how do we get ourselves back to the now? The beauty of the service dogs that are used in chronic and post-traumatic stress is dogs live in the present tense. Dog comes over, it has present tense energy. It puts its paw on you when you're having a bad moment. And our entire being shifts instantly. Their energy is calm. We are not. We are in a panic. And when that first happens, oh, now the reason it's a service dog, the reason it works in that scenario is that we're not talking about a rescue dog that has trauma of its own. We're talking about a dog. We're talking about an animal. We're talking about an entity outside us that is stable. And when we are next to it and our jagged little molecules are all over the place and this is stable, is there a tendency for that to connect? Maybe. But the reason we're jagged is not because we like it. It's because we are desperately seeking safety and sanctuary. And when we're next to it and we feel it, zert, it's like a magnet. So how do we get out of a space where we feel terrible? We can ask questions. Instead of saying, I feel so terrible, how could they do that to me? I feel so terrible. What is wrong with me? Why can't I ever? How come this always happens to me? Why? Why me? When it feels as though things are pointed to and at and over us, we are facing the wrong way. We're facing the wrong way. How do we do anything to fix that? I'll show you. Turn our head. We turn our head. I'm focusing on you. I have the camera in my total focus. Now I'm going to turn away and I'm going to look at my lamp over here. And if I say to myself, you know why I like that lamp so much? I like the lamp because the shade is orange. And when I turn the bulb on, it's a warm, orange, sunshiny oomph in the room. It's like that, that meditating. That's what it feels like. It's not bright. It's not neon like the curtains. It's soft. And I chose them purposely for that. And I put them on either side of my desk so that out of the corner of each eye, that influence is always there. No matter what is going on, that influence is always there. Because I know that there are times when I need it. Well, good morning, Patrick. To put upon her leg, hey, it's okay. Remember, there's also outside this box when you're ready. And by the way, Dad, I have to pee. Just saying, just putting it out there. And I haven't had a treat in about 10 minutes. Yes. Yes, Patrick. Everything that we have available to us is a blink away. What is difficult is how overwhelming, how large the big stuff can feel. And we cannot simply make it go away because our subconscious brain does 95% of the work. And it's not asking for permission. It's doing its job. And if for some reason there is an alert that goes off, that's the job. It's triggering adrenaline so that we get that fight or flight thing happening. And so the question is, well, why, if there's nothing wrong, why did I wake up in the night all nervous and everything? So here's the thing about the subconscious. It's very important to realize these little things that I didn't know. I'm not, I learned in the process of delving into how can I make this Pivotry concept be covered all over with helpful stuff. Subconscious brain only knows the present. Nope. The subconscious brain only knows action, response, action, reaction. It's not good at preemptive strike. That's the cognitive brain, the thinking brain that says, if this soon, then how about now? This brain does that. Subconscious brain says, what was that? That's not normal. Let's prepare. If we imagine something, if we have a trauma event, the subconscious doesn't know it's real. It's not real. It doesn't know. And so it puts us in fight or flight or freeze mode to protect us, to keep us safe. It doesn't know when to stop if the threat isn't real. So it just keeps on keeping on. And that's what happens when we go into shock in an accident and the body starts shutting down. The subconscious thinks it's helping us. So what is it that we can do that can help us redirect the subconscious brain? Well, fortunately, there are a couple of things, and they're really simple. They're really easy wins. And I want to share them because who doesn't want a simple hack that actually works? So one of the things that calms the subconscious brain is breathing. And the reason it calms it is because the breathing we do, the different kinds of breathing we do, prepare us for different kinds of activities. When we are in a panic mode, we breathe high, shallow, fast breaths. The heart starts pumping and racing, and we're ready to go, right? That's that kind of breathing. If we can tell ourselves, if we get a Post-it note, get a Post-it note and a pen and write on the Post-it note, breathe, with maybe 3 E's to remind us that it's a long breath. And maybe we write on 7 or 10 or 40 Post-it notes and we put them everywhere. Why do we do that? Because when we see it and we look at it, we go, oh yeah. It's a different kind of breathing that disrupts the survival, panic, freeze, flight, fright mode. And what we have to do is see it, remember it, allow the subconscious brain to register it as an instruction. And then it does. Now, the subconscious brain can't read, doesn't know what words are. But when we see it and we say it, breathe, subconscious brain can hear that. And the slow, deep breath doesn't happen up here. It's not that. If you put your hand just above your waistline, both hands, it's breathing from there. It's the way singers breathe. It, instead of bringing the air in this way, we bring the air in down there. It's a different kind of muscle. You can YouTube how it works. You can YouTube and watch the video and see how the person does it. Singing, breathing from the diaphragm is what it's called. The diaphragm is the muscle that sits right below the lungs. Diaphragm, like a bellows for a wood stove, the diaphragm goes down, expands the lungs, comes up, deflates the lungs as the air goes out. We want the diaphragm in charge in order to calm everything down. Okay, so watch the video, figure it out, practice by putting your hands on your abdomen, just above your waistline, so that you understand what to do. And if you're not sure, put one hand down here and one here. And if when you're trying to breathe, this is moving, you're doing it wrong. There. And the reason I want you to do that is because as we breathe that way, it takes 3 or 4 breaths, maybe. And nice, not hold it for 30 seconds. Don't, no, no, just slowly breathe in and out. That's it. And it takes 3 or 4, and things feel different. Shoulders aren't as tense. Do a few more. Doesn't matter how many. Do as many as you feel like. And when things begin to subside, you say, I am safe. We are safe. I am grateful. We are grateful. And as you do that, give yourself permission to look around the room. Give yourself permission to look at stuff. As you're saying, I am safe. We are safe. I am grateful. We are grateful. I am safe. As we stop and pause and look at the stuff, we are grateful, and we're connecting that word, grateful, safe, to those things. We are grateful not to the printer, not to the lamp. We are grateful for the lamp. We are grateful for the experience we receive. We are grateful and safe and okay right now. And right now is all that matters. If we do that, so steps, get a note, get some Post-its, right? Breathe, put them all over the place. That's going to be your trigger. That's your disrupt code word, right? And then go on YouTube, look at the diaphragm breathing for singers, watch the video, see how it works, practice. It's really cool. It's very interesting. It feels very different. What it does basically is that, aside from the fact that it's different, so you're thinking about it differently, it also gets more oxygen in sooner because you're breathing much deeper into your lungs. You're getting the full value of it. The whole thing is full. So once you know that how, and you experience what happens yourself when you turn and you look at a lamp, or you look at the printer, you look at your keyboard, or you look at the window, and you look at the curtain, and you are talking to yourself while you do that. I am safe. We are safe. Part of your brain is saying, that's a gorgeous picture. I love that old clock. It's always a little off time, but it doesn't matter. It's beautiful to look at. As we are thinking those things, we are no longer hurting us. We are no longer pushing ourselves past our boundaries, past our limits. We are taking a moment. I don't have time. Yeah, you do. Sure you do. You've got time to scroll your phone. You've got time to look at a reel. You've got time to do this. First, do no harm here. Then, spread the love. And the reason I want you to think about the inanimate objects as having an entity, as having an opinion, as having a purpose, is not because I want us all to go into cartoon work. It's because I want us all to realize that we're not alone. That's not just some dumb lamp. That's my lamp. And when it's dark and it's gray outside and I turn it on, it's not dark and gray right here. Not where I am, next to my lamp. I'm connected to it. I found it. I chose it. I invested in it. I brought it home. It's mine. And it changes my day. It changes the way I feel, changes the way I see, actually, as well. It gives me something of value. It is giving me something of value, and it's unconditional. If the light doesn't come on, and the thing I posted on Facebook what the cartoon was, some little creature looking at a plate, and it says, "I stupid microwave, I pushed beeps and it still came out a potato." Excuse me. See that? I mean, when you take the silliness of that away, the thing is that person feels betrayed. That person, that character in that cartoon feels as though the microwave doesn't care. It's not trying hard. It's getting it wrong. It's got indifferent incompetence. It's just, I paid a lot of money for that microwave. Should be doing a better job. The person is self-isolating by doing that. When somebody says I'm in a downward spiral, okay, take one step to the left. What? Take one step to the left or right. I don't care. Take one, just one step. Take one step. Why? Just would you take the step? Fine. Okay, is the spiral still over there? Don't turn your head. You don't want it to know you've moved. Is it over there or is it with you? And at some point in these instructions, somebody will say to me, "What is wrong with you?" And they're no longer in the spiral. Because Vikings invented the ultimate disrupt technique. Oh, look, ship with serpent head. What the hell is that? Now I've forgotten what I was arguing with you about. What the hell is that? Everything that we have that gets in our way is in our way because we give it permission to do that. My dad used to accuse, heavy word. My dad used to remind me that many of the things that I did were stalling tactics. They were my way of postponing something I had to do. And he would often say, crying is a stalling tactic. It's a release and it's necessary. But going on and on about it after a certain amount of time is a stalling tactic. Because what we need to do is cry to release the pent up feelings, get rid of the cathartic experience, and then find an equally powerful way within us to give ourselves a hug, to give ourselves permission to make a nice cup of tea, to give ourselves permission to hug a pillow, to give ourselves permission to say, I'm not having a great day. I'm going to put on my favorite pajamas and I'm going to bed. And I'm giving myself permission to rest. That's not stalling, that's healing. Standing in one spot doing the same thing over and over and over again is stalling. And he would remind me of that so that I would teach myself that, of course, we pause, of course, we breathe, of course, we take the moment. And now we are ready for the next moment, because the next moment is waiting in the wings. And it has all kinds of stuff for us. So what I want to share today, what are you, translation from Wolf? I figured that if I time the microwave by increments of 5 instead of 10 seconds, the coffee will face me when I open the door. I just had to learn that. now there's now there's an ultimate disrupt. What if the microwave is just messing with you? Says to the toaster, watch this. Toasters like this. Bread slot. It is, I think, reasonable for me to say that the last 2 years have been an extraordinary set of circumstances. and that each one coming has been a fresh surprise. And at one point, I said to myself out loud, a change is as good as a rest when whatever that was got interrupted by something more remarkably astonishing. And me on the other side of it thinking, and in my head, my dad's voice, get on with it, deal with it, and then you can rest. Deal with it, get it done. Find the simple route, find the simple win, find the shortest distance. Don't prolong it, get it done. And every time I do that, every time I remember my dad saying, quit stalling, I think that began when I didn't want to go to bed. And I would come up with reasons not to go to bed. And he would let me get away with the first two or three, and then he would finally say, nay, Dad. Things happen to us. We place ourselves in situations. We take a shortcut. We do this, we do that, and things happen. They don't happen by themselves. They're triggered by some previous action. The reason it's raining today isn't because Mother Nature said, it's because the remnants of Hurricane Beryl are on the way out the side door. So it isn't about us. However, we are there as it comes by. And how we deal with it, how we put it into perspective, taps into our remarkable skills, not to react in survival mode, but respond strategically to get above it, around it, under it, or through it on our terms. To always remember, first, do no harm here. Then, do no harm everywhere. I was talking, I'm so blessed. I was talking to Alistair Gillis a few months ago. Alistair Gillis played one of my children on You Can't Do It on Television. And Alistair is an extraordinary human being. They all were. The kids were all just great. Alistair and I started on the same day, so it's sort of like we were the new kids on the block together. So there's always been that bond between us. You know, we didn't know where the bathrooms were on the same day. We didn't know where the cafeteria was on the same day, and so we can judge our learning curves together in tandem. And I've stayed in touch with quite a few of the kids. And anyway, we were talking, and he said, it has always been a mystery to me how incredible it is that we both ended up on that show at the same time on the same day. How that happened, how I got chosen from way over here, and how you got chosen from way over there, and we connected on that first day. It's incredible. And he said, so I can't sort it out. I can't figure it out. I can't make head or tails of it. So I don't focus on how mysterious it is. I focus on how awesome it is. Because that's what really matters. And this is one of my it's one of my kids, right? And just had to learn the microwave's language to cooperate. To cooperate, Patrick, to cooperate with the microwave, to get in step with the microwave. You think it's teaching you the dance? When I had that conversation with Alistair, and I thought, I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty blessed. I got stuff most people won't have. And by the way, most people have stuff I will never have. And when we run into each other and we meet each other and we talk about stuff and we look and we think, wow, how do you do that? Yeah, that's incredible. I watch some people do things and I think, you know, I had to have been sick the day they handed that out because there's nowhere in here that I have whatever that is that they do. Okay, I don't even know how to begin. And that's the wonder. It's also a stalling tactic because if we go away and wonder, well, why did they get it and I didn't? It's a waste of time. There's no answer for that. Nobody did it or didn't do it to us or at us. It is, and therefore it is. And therefore, since we know them and they know us, we get the benefit of it and we don't have to clean up after it. Much like me having all those children. They went home to somebody else who had to do all that other stuff. I just got to see them at the best of times. I don't think I have one with me. Well, this is good enough. So, there's two sides to every coin. And then some clever wag will say there's actually three sides. So there's the head, and then there's the tail, and then there's the edge. And the edge is the thing that separates, is the content of the coin that separates the head from the tail, from the top from the bottom. And so it's my door number 3. There's 3 options for everything. There's always 3. Always, always, always. Anything you look at, any situation you're in, there's always 3 possibilities. The best, the worst, and something creative. And we are the ones who have the ability. We are the originators. We have the skills and the tools to come up with door number 3. Always. So when I began this video, I said, what if that real we ignored had feelings? Then the next time you watch a reel, say at the end of the reel, very cool, thank you. Get into the habit. You need a Post-it note? Good. They come in a bundle. Really cool, thank you. That's it. That is the how. That is the hack. Start here. First, do no harm. Is something harmful happening? Pivot. That's not helping? Pivot. Breathe. Simple wins. And if none of that works, try this. What would Valerie Prevert do? Valerie? Yes, dear? What would you do? Oh, I don't know, dear. Let's ask your father. You know what's remarkable about good old Val? The number of times she said, well, I don't know, dear. And I was like, that girl had something going on. She was onto something. Maybe not so silly after all. So get another Post-it note. What would Valerie Prevert do? WWVPD, right? WWVPD. What would Valerie Prevert do? And if that doesn't make you smile, go buy yourself a pair of yellow rubber gloves. Keep them with you in your pocket. Use them as a touchstone. And be good to you. We are the first one. We are the first responder. Every time, all the time. We never don't show up. We may not always be exactly ready when we show up, but we are always the first to respond. We really need to give thanks for that. And remember to hug your loved ones. Remember, because they are us and we are them. And what's this? What's this? Here, I was speaking, I'll go back. A couple of my guys sitting on the floor in front of saying to them, they are safe, we are safe. So it's funny you said that today. It's a theme. I was wondering, we can only truly be safe unless, yeah. It is not the presence or the absence of danger. It is not an external, it's internal. When we feel safe, when we know safety, when we choose it and we use it as a power stance, it is our sword and our shield. It is not a result of. It is innate within us. It is part of what we are. A pair of yellow gloves, and I think of you every time I. Right on. Right on. I have a pair of yellow rubber gloves too in the kitchen. And every time I put them on, I think it's a thing that's never going to die. And that's pretty cool. All right. So every day there are things to solve and resolve and evolve. Solve, resolve, evolve. Every day, all the time, awake and asleep. We would be bored out of our minds if there weren't. When it's overwhelming, take a step back. Put on a yellow rubber glove. Have a conversation with it. What would Valerie Prevert do? And then if an idea doesn't come to us right away, don't obsess. I know, it's easy for you to say. No, it isn't easy for me to say. If the idea doesn't come to you, do something else. Physically do something else. Turn your head. Oh, yeah, I have to dust that. Go do. Go do. Be will come. It always does. And remember, use your later folder. Give yourself permission to put the stuff away. Set it aside. Write it down. Get it out of your head. Get it out of here. Get it onto a page. Save it for later so you can clear the decks and get on with your day. All right? Fanaticon. A whole bunch of people. 3 paparazzi. 3 booth helpers. 3 new things that nobody knows I'm doing and bringing. I haven't mentioned it to Lance because, well, he's busy. There's no need to trouble him. He'll find out soon enough. And we start early. Our load-in is at 7 a.m. on Sunday. And all our helpers are going to be on deck. And the crew is just incredible. They go above and beyond. And doors open at 10 o'clock for the VIPs, 11 o'clock for everybody else, close at 5. And it is a great time. If you're in the Ottawa area, it is the Ottawa Conference Center. It's just so if you're in Ottawa and you know how to take the Queensway, the 417, you get off at the Vanier Parkway exit, and it's the first right at the first lights. After that, there's 2 hotels, a Hampton Inn and a Marriott. It's at the Marriott Convention Center. The parking is free. And I think the ticket this year is $20 or $22 or something. It's very cheap. And it's a great time. It's a small convention. It's not like the big cons. This is a one-day village event for collectibles and cosplayers and crazy people who love to talk about all the shows and all the imaginary friends they had when they watched them before and watch them now. So we're going to be there. This is my 5th time at FanaticCon Ottawa. And then there was Cornwall and Brockville, and then there was Ottawa, and there's Montreal. So I've done about 10. And it's always a good time. And it's always a frantic time getting there, unloading, setting up, and then it's a frantic time afterwards, tearing down, packing up. And I wouldn't miss it for the world. So if you're in the area, I hope you stop by. If I can get Wi-Fi, I'm going to see if I can do a little quick live on my Facebook, on my phone at some point during the day when some crazy things are happening. So you can check in with me. Okay. So in the meantime, between now and next week, have a great few days. If you're having iffy weather, be good to you. First, do no harm. If you're having stresses and stuff and responsibilities, take the breathing. Be good to you. These things come and these things go. We remain. All right. And I'll catch you up on everything that happened when I see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you for telling your friends to check it out too. That is amazing of you.